If you're struggling to give up junk food, struggle no longer. I'm gonna give you the secret weapon that the big food industry does not want you to have that's gonna make giving up junk food effortless. And no, I'm not gonna scare you with a bunch of statistics or facts about all the different chemicals that are in the food wreaking havoc on your health because you already know that. You're already calling it junk food. You already know that it's terrible for you, but you're continuing to make the same mistake. But that's okay. I've been in your exact position. And this secret, this weapon, I actually learned from an Orthodox priest. I'm gonna link his channel in the description just to give him some credit. I've completely simplified it, and then I've kind of built my own process and second part to it. But it's something I really learned throughout my athletic career is that everything that I learned throughout building my athletic career, becoming a high-level athlete, carried over into business, carried over into relationships. And that's the same thing with this priest is giving a spiritual weapon, a spiritual tool to fight back against sin or whatever it may be. But I realize it's highly effective in the health and fitness industry. So the reason, right, you know that junk food's bad, but you're struggling to give it up, that's okay. It starts off with the assault. So the assault is where you're walking, you're in your house, it's in your, you got a little hunger, that maybe you don't want to eat past 8 p.m. and it's like 8:05 and you smell the cookie or you got a little bit of hunger. Something's going on, you see it, there's some kind of trigger, and that's what we call the assault. So, well, first and foremost, I actually should have added, you shouldn't even have the junk food. If you can eliminate it from your house, if you can eliminate it from sight, from mind, it's gonna be, out of arm's reach. But if you do want to build up your strength, your willpower, your discipline, and that's what this secret's gonna make it effortless to do that. So let's just say you're exposed to it, you see the cookies, the jar's right there, and that's the assault. So from the assault, you're gonna start to contemplate. You're gonna start to be thinking about it. You're like, I know I shouldn't have it, but I really want it, and that really leads to the fight. So you're contemplating eating the cookie, how it's gonna feel. You know that it's gonna feel really good to eat the cookie, but you also know that you probably shouldn't eat the cookie because you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to build muscle. You know the cookie's full of chemicals and processed sugars. So you start to fight. And from the fight goes to the consent. You have now consented. You said, it's fine, I'm gonna eat the cookie. It's just one cookie's not gonna hurt me. So you kind of throw your willpower, you throw that diet plan, New Year's resolution out the window, and you've consented to eating that cookie, which can lead now to habit and addiction because, well, you already broke your New Year's resolution. It's February, 26th. You started January, so like tomorrow, it's not gonna be as big of a deal because you're not giving up a huge streak now, right? You already consented. And now it becomes habit and it becomes addiction. And by the way, that you already know that it's bad for you, but this is the kind of strategy that the enemy is using to make you consent to eating the junk food, keeping you unhealthy, keeping you suppressed, keeping your energy levels, your testosterone. And this is why big food, which is the enemy, the big pharma, the supplement industry, they just want to sell you a bunch of stuff and tell you, stay fat, stay controllable, keep consuming and buying our garbage products. But this is the part that I learned from the priest, but I kind of learned something in business. I learned something in my business career. It's kind of in economics, which is its back-end transactions. And this is really the secret that you can use. Now, if you understand this, you're never gonna wanna eat junk food again because let's just say, and stay with me here, say your baseline, this is your value, this is how you feel. You're at a 0 right now, you're neutral. You don't feel great, you don't feel bad. You're chilling, you're at a 0. And when you see that cookie, when you're having the contemplation, the assault, the contemplation, before you make consent, you realize there is a benefit to eating that cookie. Don't get me wrong. It is going to provide a short-term benefit. And let's say that's plus 25. So you actually are gonna go from a 0, which is neutral, and you're gonna go to a 25. You're gonna feel great. You're gonna get a quick sugar rush. You're gonna get a dopamine hit. Maybe, raises your energy levels a little bit because the blood sugar went up. So there is a benefit, and that's great. But this is a short-term benefit. So if you can understand back-end transactions, and that's just kind of a term that I made up, and it's what I mean by is what you don't see this is the transaction. You eat the cookie and you get the benefit. But you don't see, and that's the short-term game, you typically don't see or realize the long-term transaction, the back-end transaction. So what I mean by that is You eat the cookie, you're gonna get a plus 25. You're gonna feel great. You go from a 0 to a 25. But the back end transaction is, okay, the crash in 2 hours when your blood sugar crashes is gonna be minus 30 because you're actually gonna go below baseline. So you were at a 0, now you're gonna be a negative 5. Maybe all the seed oils and chemicals. Our cells are made up of oils. So if you eat a bunch of garbage oils, well, your cells are gonna be made of garbage and you're gonna feel like garbage. And it takes up to 2 years to replace all the cells in your body. So let's just say that, and it's just one cookie. So let's say that's like a minus 0.5 for the cells are gonna be made up of garbage oils now. Maybe there's some chemicals that are gonna cause acne for a day. So that's a minus 2, right? So this is the back end transaction that you're probably not realizing. So it's minus 30, 32.5, let's call it, is the cost. So you get a 25 plus short-term gain, but then it's gonna be a negative 32.5. And as you can see, I'm not even gonna do the math right now. It's gonna continue through all these little transactions that you make. You're gonna continue to spiral down. You're gonna continue to feel suppressed. Your testosterone is gonna be low, your hormones, you're gonna be getting fatter. You're not gonna be putting on muscle because you don't have the proper nutrients. You're gonna stay hungry because even though you're eating these foods, well, they're not nutrient dense. So your body is still gonna be craving what it wants. That's why if you eat an avocado, you'll feel full, but you can eat a bag of chips and you want another bag of chips. So besides all the chemicals and all the addiction methods that they're using, all you need to understand is the back end transaction is negative, and you start to think about that, you start to be conscious, you have to be more aware. Well, now you're gonna, and I'm not saying you can never have junk food. I mean, cheat days are good, the 80-20 rule, that's fine. But when you realize, if you're struggling with anything, if you're struggling to give up cigarettes, if you're struggling to give up junk food, anything that you know is wreaking havoc on your health, well, if you can really start to just become aware and conscious of the back end transaction, I guarantee you that it's gonna be a way easier choice next time that you have an assault. So now that we have just launched our assault against big food, the enemy is gonna be throwing everything he has at you. So if you wanna know more of the science behind, well, what are the specific foods to avoid, what chemicals, what's good, what's bad, what exercises should you implement to elevate your hormones, your testosterone level, shred body fat, pack on muscle, just increase overall vitality, I have a free community. The link is in the description. And I'm going to talk about the ancestral wisdom that is tried and tested throughout the ages to increase natural testosterone levels and vitality. I will see you in there. It's time to fight back. Let's go to war.